Hi guys, so this is Jerry. I just wanted to come in and say hi to you guys, and one thing I really wanted to talk about was being reactive and having fear. And the reason why I want to say that is because I feel like the world is going to have a ricochet effect where a lot of people will be fearful or they will react. But if you're listening to this is also just for your personal life. It's nothing detrimental. So one of the things that you need to recognize in this life is that you are not the content, you are the context, as Dr. David R. Hawkin always talks about. And the only way to realize that you are the context is most likely you need to meditate. Or be out in nature, or be in a place where you can feel your spaciousness, where you can feel your consciousness, and then you realize that you are not the content, you are not really this physical body, it's more like a shadow of who you truly are. And the contents of your life, so all of the 3D things that you can see in your life, your dog, or maybe your family members, or any of your problems, those are the contents, including the things that you think about yourself, your character, your personality. These are contents. These are not the spaciousness. This is not the context of which you truly are. And if you have never felt that, I highly recommend that you do start to have some sort of ritualistic practice or meditation practice where you can start to feel it. And that is what every human is searching for. We're all searching for this spaciousness, going back to point zero, going back to this non-linear way of being. And before we came into this world, you could say that we were born backwards because we were everything, and then when we come back to this point, now we are something, we're of content, we're in this body. But I wanted to talk about reactivity, having reactions that you don't really like, and most of it is because you don't have enough space between yourself and the person or place or situation that you're reacting to. You don't give yourself any space. And it's kind of funny, but I tell my boyfriend all the time, just like, give yourself 3 seconds before you decide you want to be stressed out. Give yourself a few seconds and decide in your head, do I really want to be angry? Is this really about survival? And if it's about survival, I'm not telling you not to react, because if you need to beat someone up, you just need to beat someone up. But that's the first thing, is give some space. You are space. So if you can do that in your daily life, it will just expound in gifts. And the next thing I want to talk about is doing your shadow work. If you don't do shadow work, then you're not going to realize all of these dark reactivities. You're not going to realize your fears when they appear. So people that do shadow work are going to write down the things that they don't like about themselves. And one of Carl Jung's patients have said, like, I thought everybody was fucking annoying, and then I realized I was the fucking annoying person. And maybe you need to put a mirror up to yourself and realize, hey, maybe I am the one that is being annoying. I'm the one that's causing the irritation. I'm putting my focus and attention on the irritation, so it's just expounding, it's just expanding, because when you put your focus or attention on a problem and you're putting your reactions and emotions into it, you're just putting more power into it. So number 1, have some spaciousness. Number 2, do your shadow work, whether you need to journal or you need to start writing all the things that you don't like about the world, all the judgments you have about the world, and then you'll probably realize that these are your judgments that you have about yourself, and you're just projecting them upon other people. And the best thing that you can do is admit to yourself that, yes, I have been reacting in a negative way. I have been fearful, and I have just been giving more energy to my problems than need necessary. Every day you wake up as a new person. You don't need to carry the baggage that you're carrying every single day. You need to realize that your past actions and your past traumas are not who you are. And if you can wake up with a clear mind and a new mindset, you'll see drastic changes no matter what. If we just look at the animals, they go through trauma. Like a zebra will just get bitten by a lion on its butt, and then it'll start shaking off all the excess trauma. It'll literally start shaking, which I also recommend if you have some traumatic thoughts or memories, is to also do some sort of movement or ETP taps and release everything. And that's all I wanted to talk about, guys. I hope this helps you out and you start practicing more spaciousness in your reactions and you start to notice it. If you're watching this video, you're most likely going to notice more of your negative emotions, you sabotaging yourself. Even if it seems like the world is also reflecting a lot of garbage to you, you can start within yourself first. Alright guys, thank you so much. Hi guys, I wanted to give a quick perspective of what happens on a physical level with reactivity. This is Dr. David R. Hawkin's graph from his book, Transcended Levels of Consciousness. This graph is titled The Philosophy of Truth, the Transition of the Inferior Brain to the Superior Brain. I highly recommend you watch his explanation and get his book to fully understand. Dr. David R. Hawkins is known for his level of consciousness graph using kinesiology. His consciousness levels give great insight into human emotion and the self. Anyways, let's look at the top of the graph. We have a below 200 inferior brain, person, or consciousness. A person will first experience something, hence the entrance of data. Unknowingly, we receive much more data than we thought possible. But let's say a below level 200 person experiences a heated situation. The data transfers to the thalamus at a fast rate in the amygdala, which means that there is already an emotional response produced before intelligence, and cognition can modify the person's perception and actions. After, the memory of the event is stored in the hippocampus, mainly to help us learn from experiences, yet this function will be stored as a survival mechanism and be used for the person's survival and service to their ego. When information finally gets to the prefrontal cortex, since there is already an emotional response, the intellect will turn into a tool for animal impulses and individual interests. All of this to say that those with a 200 under consciousness are dominated by the ego, basing their lives on emotion techniques of animal survival, which will always be aligned with pleasure, predation, and gain. Unknowingly, most of the population cannot tell that there is some egoic pleasure in becoming the victim, inflicting painful emotions and memories upon themselves, as well as doing this to others. It's one of the hidden enemies that we're told we should feel sorry for ourselves, fight against each other without any spaciousness. Just react, resist, and then become weakened physically and at a catabolic level. Moving on to the superior brain, those with at least a level 200 consciousness. The same heated situation is initiated, and very fast it will reach the etheric brain, cerebral cortex, and the thalamus. At an even faster speed, the data reaches the prefrontal cortex and the person can act, not react, with intelligence. They can begin to contextualize the heated event and are not just limited to the left brain response. When the right brain is also used, the physiology of the person will have a neurohormonal response that is anabolic, allowing endorphins and balance in the system. Also highlighted during this time, the person's system will release oxytocin and vasopressin towards the amygdala or the emotional center. The difference is clear. As your consciousness elevates, you can now respond to the 3D world without venom and malice. It can be hard to catch yourself reacting or overreacting to a startling experience, but if you become aware of it, you are one step forward in your evolution. Going out into nature, meditating, and doing exercise every day will calm your system down and will also help brain hemisphere synchronization on both sides of your brain. The right brain has been weakened by society for many reasons, including what I'm saying in this video, that if you react or overreact, you will be controlled by outside circumstances and people without your knowledge, and plus, you will allow people and events to get your goat, weaken your system, basically killing yourself with overreactiveness and victim mentality, also known as the ego. Thank you for listening. I hope this is helpful in your evolution soul journey. Please check out Dr. David R. Hawkin's book, Transcending Levels of Consciousness, and his lecture on the same topic, which this one was inspired from.